Whoop, wait up. Here I come. Hi, and welcome back to, I think, the second video of the gaming pickup for 2023. I really don't really make a lot of these videos anymore because I don't really buy that much. I mean, I actually bought quite a lot, as you can see. But again, this is the second video for this year, and there are a couple of packages that I still need to receive. I got a couple of limited run games, um, rare games, and I think from Strictly Limited. Um, but I did buy basically a game for every console that I own besides the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3. And I will probably forget a couple of games. Oh, wait, I did get a couple of games for the PS2. I got Artonelico 2 for the PlayStation 2. So that's a pretty big game. Artonelico 2 is pretty expensive, so I did get Artonelico 2 on the PS2. So I did get a PS2 game. I only did not get a PS3 game. That's it. So with that being said, let's just start with the PS1, I guess. I'm trying to get more into PS1. The PS1 is also becoming a lot more expensive, a lot more rare. You don't really see that many PS1 games on the online marketplace here in Holland. So I try to pick up as much games as I possibly can that I'm interested in. And of course, the Japanese stuff is very expensive. And one of the expensive ones is a game called Dragon Valor. It's like a mix between a beat 'em up and RPG. And sort of the quirkiness of this is that you play in different timelines, different, like, you have a kid and he gets a child, and then you play with the first character is his child, and then you go on and on and on. It's a couple of generations. At the end of the game, I should really beat the game. I really liked it. When I was 7 weeks spending living at my dad's place because I have to wait for this house or apartment. I almost died. Had to wait for this apartment. There was someone who says you didn't buy a house, you bought an apartment. That's really stupid. Well, here in Holland, it's completely normal. So maybe in the United States it's stupid, but here it's definitely not. So Dragon Valor is one of the games I played at my dad's place quite a lot. I got the Street Fighter collection. Um, I think it was $20 if I remember correctly. So let's first start with all the sort of old stuff. On the Xbox, I did get a few more Xbox games, especially multi-platform games that I also have on PS2. But of course, the Xbox was the most powerful system back then, a lot more powerful than the PS2. So a lot of games run better and look better. So I'm actually going to do something that is sort of against what I always did. Is I will try and get as many multi-platform games that I'm interested in for the Xbox because they will look better and run better on that system. Now, I do, of course, want all the exclusives, and one of them is the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, a game I have not really played that much. I'm definitely not going to play it on the Xbox because the loading screens are horrendous. Holy shit. It's basically as bad as Oblivion on the PS4, I mean the PS3 and the 360. It was horrendous. But still, it's an exclusive that you want, and it's a classic. Let's be honest, it is a classic. A game I did not really know anything about was Midnight Madness 3. I still need to play this game. It says only on Xbox, so I guess it's for only on Xbox. I got Serious Sam 2. I started Serious Sam 1 and I got completely invested in the game, beat the game. I'm playing Serious Sam 2 here and there, and I love the sort of humor of Serious Sam. And I also really like the gunplay. I'm a huge fan of these old school arena shooters, not a huge fan of Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, whatever, but I'm a huge fan of these type of arena shooters, and of course, story-driven shooters. May sound really weird, but I played Red Faction this year on the PS2. Completely loved it. Absolutely fantastic. And then I started playing it on the PlayStation 2, but I got a huge bundle with Xbox games, and one of them was Red Faction 2. And as I said, this is probably the best version you can get on the original hardware back then, so I got Red Faction 2. I do remember playing Red Faction 2 at like a friend of mine. He was part of my dad's Dungeons and Dragons club, and he brought his GameCube, not this one, but he brought his GameCube a lot of times. And I do remember playing stuff like Mario Kart, Smash Brothers Melee, and also Red Faction 2 4-player split screen was a lot of fun. And of course, the sort of feature of Red Faction is that you can destroy a lot of things. Not everything, but back then it was revolutionary. It was amazing. It felt that you could destroy everything. Red Faction Gorilla, though, lets you basically destroy everything, at least what's man-made, and it's a really cool game. Same goes with Time Splitters 2. I actually got the Xbox bundle for Time Splitters and Morrowind because I love Time Splitters 2. It is probably one of my favorite shooters ever, and one of my favorite video games ever. It's probably in the top 10, top 20. Played it for hundreds of hours back when I was a kid and a teenager with my friends on the PS2, of course, with multi-tap and Time Splitters 2. I still play this game. I still play this game here and there, just like Diablo. These are games that to me are timeless. And I remember in the beginning of this year, I had like a gaming party, whatever, a gaming night. And I do remember that we were playing Def Jam. And then I'm like, hey, shall we play Time Splitters? And a couple of my friends from back then, well, a couple, only one, actually said, yeah, sure. And we played Time Splitters 2, with a bunch of people, and it was still a lot of fun. You know which game is also still a lot of fun and that you really need to collect for every console is Soul Calibur 2. Now, Soul Calibur 2 is seen as one of the best fighting games ever, especially on that generation of consoles. Man, that generation of consoles really was the best. I mean, so many great games, so many incredible franchises have been born on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. Of course, I have the remastered version on the PlayStation 3. That's probably the best version that I have, but here you got Link, and that's why, of course, I need this game. Oh, now that I'm thinking about Soul Calibur 2, we are now on the GameCube page. I finally got a GameCube from a friend of mine, something that I wanted for a very long time, especially since I have seen a video about Skies of Arcadia, and I'm like, poop, oh yeah, I remember that RPG I was really, really jealous of that I could not get on the PlayStation 2. I was always hoping, will Skies of Arcadia come to the PlayStation 2? Of course, it did not. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I did play a lot on the GameCube, but I always shit on it, just like I shitted on the Xbox, of being too childish, stupid controllers, stupid games, only Mario. In reality, well, the GameCube is a classic. The game. There are a couple of fans who say, the GameCube was sort of after GameCube is where Nintendo died. They lost their charm. I don't believe that. I think Mario Odyssey, for example, Zelda, Breath of the Wild are absolutely fantastic games, and we're going to see what the Switch 2 is going to be, if it's going to be backwards compatible, yes or no. Perhaps I will get the new Switch and then get all sort of the games back, because I did sell them last year. But it's something for the future in a couple of years. Definitely not now or tomorrow, or maybe if I win the lottery or something. But I don't do the lottery, so I can never win the lottery. You know what I mean. But the GameCube had a couple of games that I really, this is going to be the last one, that I really wanted to play back then. And one of them is also Super Mario Sunshine. I played a little bit, great game, definitely going to play a lot more. I basically talked about this game in my other video. Go check it out, my GameCube collection, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Star Fox Adventure. I'm basically going to get all the exclusives for the game, not all of them, the ones I'm interested in. Not really interested in multi-platform games because Xbox, more powerful, Bloody Roar, and of course the two Metroid games. Now, I see actually that I forgot to get one GameCube game, but I got two GameCube games yesterday in the mail, and I basically have been playing those games, or at least this game. That is Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2, and I also got Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, but that's like a card game, really weird. But I remember my friend from my dad's club bringing his GameCube, And we actually did play, and I played because he just let me play on his GameCube when he was doing Dungeons and Dragons. But I do remember after they were done, we were always playing games, and we also played Fantasy Star Online 1 and 2. And it's another game I was very jealous of that I could not get on the PS2, not knowing there was Fantasy Star Universe on the PS2. But back then, the internet wasn't as big as it is right now. And I really only had information on gaming magazines, etc. So I didn't really know there was a Fantasy Star-ish game like Fantasy Star Online. This is actually the third one. Oh, this is actually the third one. So Fantasy Star Online 1 and 2 is over there. Quite funny. But I'm loving it. I'm 6 hours into the game, and I love the art style, the music, the way you play the game. To be honest, if you really think about it, Fantasy Star Online 1 and 2 and Universe are kind of like Monster Hunter games, but just lacking the whole, difficulty. It's not really a really super hard game. You have to sort of grind. It's like an MMO, right? Um, and I did get a silver GameCube from a friend of mine, and I got basically this GameCube with a bunch of games. It's a black one. I just prefer the color black. Black or white is definitely the coolest colors for me personally. For a console, I really like the design of the PS5. It's big, and I also really like the design of the PS5 Slim or the reversion of the PS5. I like PS4, whatever. But sadly, though, this is yellowed out. That kind of sucks. But I don't really care about it that much, right? They completely work though. I think it has Star Fox Adventure on it. I played it for a little while. They all both work. I do have to sort of, now that I think about it, I think I've never really seen many people complain, even back then, about their GameCube dying or even their Xbox dying. I know there's problems with the Xbox disc tray being stuck, but I've never really seen people talk about oh my god, my GameCube died or anything like that. These things, if you really think about it, these things, Xbox and GameCube, are actually built a lot stronger than a PlayStation 2. Talking about much better builds, the Nintendo GameCube controller. The controller that I always shitted on, and of course the Xbox controller. Now, I think I've made a video about the Xbox a year later, and admitting that the Xbox controller is actually pretty good. It's a little bit too big, but it's pretty good, and the buttons feel really nice. It's to be honest, quality-wise, a much better controller than the PS2. Well, if you didn't like that, brace yourself, because I've been playing on the Nintendo GameCube, and these L and R buttons are weird, but somehow they're pretty nice. These buttons are weird, but somehow they press really nice. The only thing I don't like about this is a sort of square-ish stick. Why in sort of squares? It's really like tick, 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 tick. It's really weird. And this tiny little controller, that's also really weird. I don't really like it. The stick itself, though, feels pretty nice. It controls pretty nice, and the controller fits pretty good in my hand. I have to admit, out of the three controllers that I have played, the PS2 is actually the worst one. It feels really cheap and small and tiny, and just it fits my hand pretty nice. The PS2 controller, but if you just compare them to the Xbox smaller controller and the game controller, the PS2 controller is actually the worst one. And I've spent 7 to 8 years of my life shitting on these controllers. Okay, to the modern stuff. As you know, I'm not a huge fan of the PS4, PS5. I'm still not a fan of the PS5. I'm really thinking, should I sell it or not? Should I sell it or not? But sometimes, I play a game and I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Now, of course, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth I'm waiting for, but I have been playing the game on PS5 and beat the game. That is Callisto Protocol. If you like that space, go get the game. Now, for my apartment, it's sort of normal. I don't know why, but it's normal if you have a party. That's called a home warming party. And people get you gifts. They buy you gifts, just like your birthday. They get you like a plant or something else. So I got a couple of PSN network codes, one actually, and I got a online store called bol.com code, gift card. So I bought a couple of stuff, and one of them is After Image on the PS5. I think this is like in a Metroidvania game that I've been looking forward to, or looking out for a couple of months, or actually, and it was only 24 bucks, so that's not really that expensive. I got Arrowheart. It's sort of an homage on the old Zelda. Solstice is actually one of the last games I played on the PS4 before I moved into sort of 7 weeks to live with my dad. This really reminds me of Devil May Cry, mixed with the sort of art style of Dark Souls. It's pretty cool. So if you like Devil May Cry and you really love the art style of Dark Souls, but you don't like the Soul games in general, go check out this game. Um, Thymesia, if I fucked up the name, I'm sorry, haven't played it yet. Same with Dolman. These games are like $5 each, so I'm like, whatever, go get them. A game I have been playing quite a bit on my PS5 and that I actually really like. As I said, I love arena shooters. Pro Diaz, this game is freaking awesome. Go play this game. If you like Under Tournament, Doom, the old Duke Nukem games, go get this game. Tormented Souls, haven't played it yet, but I've heard this is sort of like an homage on Resident Evil. Hey, where's my other game that I got? Oh wait, that's in PS4. And I got East 9 on the PS5. I'm not entirely sure if I got this in my other video for game pickups or not. I've been slowly playing this game. And why I've been slowly playing this game is because it feels the same. Like, I loved East 8. What the fuck is going on? I loved East 8, and I like East 9. But I don't like the whole gray city setting. I think it's really boring compared to the sort of lush, tropical environments in East 8. And it just plays the same, it feels the same. I don't know. East 10 at least looks more interesting with the whole islands idea, and that you can actually maneuver your ship around, islands and stuff, and battle. But I just haven't really played it that much. Now, this video is going to be pretty long probably. PS4. As you know, PS4 is basically one of, if not my favorite console ever. That's kind of weird to say always. No, is it my favorite? No, PS2 is probably my favorite console ever. But it's one of. It's always sometimes on PS4, sometimes on PS2. It does have the biggest collection though. Because of this, I think it already sort of outmaneuvered PS2 because I did get a lot of PS2 games last year. But this year I'm getting a lot more PS4 games because PS4 is getting cheap, very, very cheap. So that's why I got a bunch of games. I have no idea what this is. It's called Mato Anomalies. Dark visual novel meets turn-based RPG combat. Okay. Got it really cheap. I want to try Spellforge 3. It's not good. I didn't like it. I had to get Final Fantasy VIII Remake. I really want to sort of replay Final Fantasy VIII one day. Final Fantasy VIII is the only game I've ever played once. The only Final Fantasy game I've ever played once. Persona 5 Striker, got it for like $8. Could not pass it up. But I got it on the PlayStation Plus. I played a little bit here and there. Again, I also sort of waiting on a price drop is Dead Cells, and this is the action game of the year. And I think it has a bunch of DLC. There is a new version for Dead Cells with mixed with Castlevania. That's pretty cool. Startopia, Iron Fury, again a game like Unreal Tournament, Doom, Prodeus. Got it really cheap. It's really cool. I played it quite a bit. The game I got for $2 is Immortal Phoenix Rising. And I basically got it for a friend of mine because she sort of was playing Horizon, but she also plays a lot of Fortnite and Call of Duty. But sometimes she says like, "Oh, I want to play other stuff." So I got this game for her basically. Maybe she'll try it out one day and she really like it because she does really like Horizon. I think she beat it completely, like platinum. I'm not sure if she got platinum, but she did like all the quests and stuff. One Punch Man. Really love the anime of One Punch Man. Only saw the first season. I got this game super cheap. The King of Fighters 15. I'm a huge King of Fighter fan. I almost have them all. Not literally all, but you know, the Orochi Saga has a lot of different ones. And the 98. I only need one King of Fighter on PS2 and I have them all. On PS5, I have them all. And I'm a huge fan. And King of Fighters 15, I saw a video like in the middle of the year, and someone was talking about how great this game was and that it's really underrated and stuff. And so I was playing it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And what I really like about King of Fighters is even though there's quite a lot of DLC for these games, the roster in this on these games are massive, like Tekken style. Because I think Tekken is also a really good example of how you should make a fighting game have a really big roster of games of characters and have a lot of DLC. I don't mind, but a lot of games nowadays they have like 8 characters, 9 characters, 10 characters, and they have like 20 characters DLC. I don't know. The Psycho Shooting Collection Volume 1 and Volume 2, these were first Nintendo exclusives, the physical versions. I know a friend of mine has this Nintendo Switch versions. I was always bummed out, like, I really like these shooters. Quite a lot of them I have on PS2 and stuff, but now I have them on the PS4, and I did buy them at sort of the retail price. I think they're like 25 bucks. Really cheap. I got Dynasty Warriors Night Empires. Do not buy this game. If you love the Warrior franchise, go get the game I get now, but don't get this game. This game sucks. It's so bad. It really sucks. Even the Dynasty Warrior Empire game on the PS3 looks better, plays better, and has a lot more units on screen. It boggles my mind. Now, the Warrior game that you should buy is One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. And I actually saw the live anime or real life anime version, live, whatever, a series of One Piece on Netflix, and we really liked it. To be honest, I was shitting on it at first. When I sort of saw the announcement, I'm like, they really didn't cast the characters right, and they're not doing the anime right. I'm not a huge fan of One Piece, but I have played all the game. I played a lot of the Warrior games. I played the Warrior games, and I saw a couple of episodes. And when I actually started watching sort of the series, I'm like, this is pretty good. I really really liked it. So you know, um, another one that's really cool is Samurai Warriors 5. It's a pretty good game. Not entirely sure if I got this game in the other video, but I did get like in the beginning of the year, or was it the end of last year? I'm not entirely sure because the time flies so fucking fast. But Gungrave Gore, huge fan of Gungrave, got them all, and I like this one. This one was a pretty good one. The game that I got recently is Code Vein. I've been playing it about 10 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours. And I have to sort of say, I like the style, I like the setting. It is much easier than most Soul games, but I've been playing Dark Souls for so long. I've been playing all these other Soul games, Mortal Shell, and the one, Lords of the Fallen, but the original one. I'm sort of burnt out on Soul-like games. I feel that I have seen it. I know how it plays. I know how the storyline unfolds. But this is a little bit more, I have to say, this is a more storylined Soul-like game. It's not really like in riddles, like in Dark Souls or Elden Ring. You do have like a story. And there's fan service, if you like that. And of course I do, so. Another game I got really cheap is Soul Hacker Stew. Don't know much about it, to be completely honest. Again, I do know quite a bit about, at least for what it is Octopath Traveler 2. Now, I got this game for 35 bucks, and I'm not joking. Like a week later, it's 25. Like a week later. Played it not a lot, quite, a little bit here and there, a couple of hours. And from what I have played, I did like it. I did really like it, and I really should go back and sort of play it a lot more. I got Sakuna of was it of Rise and Ruin. I have heard that this is a hidden RPG gem that you really should play. It's still sealed. I've just been playing a lot of stuff lately. A game that was pretty expensive for a very long time. I'm not entirely sure why it's cheap all of a sudden. Maybe this is a reprint, but Dragon Star Varnir I got for 15 bucks, completely sealed. It is the German version though, the US key with the huge US key logo. Not many people really like that, but to be honest, I don't give a shit. The only thing I see in my game collection is this. This is what I see. I don't give a shit. But I've heard some pretty good stuff about this game. The game that I've also heard some pretty good stuff about is Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout. And I'm actually quite happy that I now see that this is the first one because I was on the fence of getting the first one like a week ago. Because I thought I got the second or the third game, but it seems I got the first one. It was pretty cheap, and I've heard so many good things about this game. I really need to play it. The game that I have been playing a little bit, quite a bit actually. I first played it on PS4, and then I played on PS5, and then I'm enjoying it on PS5 a little bit more because the frame rate is a little bit better. Is Star Ocean and the Divine Force. And somehow I can't really play it for hours. Like yesterday, I played 5 hours with Star Ocean Online 1 and 2, and I just cannot put myself up to play an hour of this game. I don't know why. Just modern action RPGs, just like East 9, Star Ocean. To me, and this is my personal opinion, a lot of these developers, they lost their charm. And you could definitely say, but what? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and the remake, you really like them. Yes, sure, but they sort of already have a pattern, right? They already have lore, they have characters, they have storyline. They are definitely going to change it. I think they also know if they fuck up Final Fantasy VII, a lot of people, it's the end. If they fuck up Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one, or the Rebirth, it's the end of Square Enix. Basically, you're going to get fucked up. Um, so yes, I am really looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think it's going to be amazing. It looks splendid. It looks incredible. But everything sort of surrounding it, you see, the whole industry itself, it feels like they've lost their charm. And thinking about losing their charm, I've heard that this game is sort of pretty hated on in the sort of fans of this franchise, and that is the Neptunia Sister Phase Sister. But I got this for 12 bucks, and it's even sort of the limited edition, calendar edition, 12 bucks. I couldn't pass it up. I had to buy it. Last but definitely not least is the game that I have been playing this week, these past 3 days. And basically, I beat the game yesterday. They on a Wednesday. I beat the game on the Wednesday, and then I started playing Star Ocean Online 1 and 2, and that is the Sword of the Vagrant. Now, with the PSN Network gift card that I got a couple of games. Skyforce Reloaded is one of them, pretty good. And I got Sword of the Vagrant. It was €3.50 was it on sale. And I was actually looking forward to this game. I wanted to pick up the physical version for this game because it looked really cool. It is a mix between the art style of Dragon's Crown and a game called Maramusa, the Demon Sword on the Wii and the PS Vita. And then you mix it with sort of the battle system and the gameplay of a Metroidvania game. So you can backtrack, you can find hidden stuff, hidden items. It's not that difficult. It's a pretty easy game, and you can sort of not level up, but you can level up your ability. So instead of experience, you get mana, and with mana you can upgrade your weapons, enhance your weapons with runes, but also enhances your ability, like more attack power, more defense. But what I also really like about this game is you can find hidden rooms and hidden treasure chests, and they have like a rune in it, or more like a how do you damn it, I forgot the word. Like the Holy Grail, right? Something like that, like a relic. You can find relics, and with with these relics, you can unlock even more abilities. So, for example, you can out of the box, out of the game, you start up and you can basically upgrade your character to attack plus 10. But then you need the relic of power to have attack plus 100, right? Um, and you need to grind quite a bit for mana. You need to backtrack and do a lot of stuff. And at the end, you can sort of double jump and then do sort of a sliding to the left or a slide to the right. So you can get to places where you couldn't first get. But it has the art style of Dragon's Crown, of Vanillaware game. Highly, highly fun game. I really enjoyed it, and I was like, I beat the game. I'm like, click, I'm going to get this physical version. Cost me 24 bucks, 25. Um, this is what I really like about modern gaming, especially indie games. Indie games are the games that I like the most. Indie and Japanese games. Sony exclusives are fine. They're not bad, but I'm like, another Spider-Man? Like, really? Another God of War? Really? I want to see the old Sony back on the PS1 and PS2 games where you had 20 games and they were all different, right? Not saying that Sony didn't make 5 Ratchet and Clank games and 3 Chicken Extra games, but they were great. They were great. Okay, but and of course, back then everything was 60 bucks, everything. And now we have 25, 30, 35, 40 bucks games. But if you really want a Metroidvania game that's not super hard, Sword of the Vagrant is the one that you want. Now, first up is thank you if you're still watching. I think this video is pretty long. I really apologize, but I just wanted to I want to take my time to really talk about certain games, etc. I don't really like just showing off all the games. I want to talk about it a little bit and talk about sort of some of the storylines. For example, with the Xbox and the GameCube, the storylines behind why am I getting a GameCube now and not 20 years ago. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm now gonna walk to my phone to click it on the stop button so you'll see me walking. And like always, you're gonna see me next time. Whee! I'm getting old. I'm getting too old.